Torah Guardian, speaking the absolute truth. Torah Nation.
Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom. Yasharal and Yahudah, grafted in Gentiles into the body of Mashiach. We the people of the book broadcast, as we do on every Shabbat. It's going down. Here to wake up Yaakov, to wake up Yasharal and Yahudah. Listen, called to bring to you the witness of Yahushua HaMashiach. Listening to none other than my Aki Lorvin. Song is entitled We From Afar. Ex-mainframe. Listen, I don't own the rights to this music, but I love my Aki. Listen. We have been brought to a territory, a land, a mass, a place of captivity. We have been brought to Mitzrayim. We are in the midst of Babylon, right? But we who have received the witness of Yahushua HaMashiach have been freed from the curse. Yeah. We're no longer under the bondage of this wicked nation. But listen, if the truth be told, I'm ready to go. Listen, I'm ready to go. Honestly, I'm ready to go. Listen, I'm ready to go back to the land of my origin. I'm ready. I've been in the land of my captivity under the dominion and the taskmasters of this nation. I'm done. I'm so done. I'm ready. Listen, I'm ready. I want to go back. I want to be able to leave this nation, right, and take as many as I can with me and go to the land. Right? But I want you to come with the witness. Because we're going to go to the land to witness, to testify, to do what Yahuah has called us to do. But listen. Listen, I'm ready. I ain't trying to hunker down here. I ain't trying to lay roots and build bunkers. I ain't doing that. I'm not that. I'm ready to go to Mount Kenya, Tanzania. Yahuah, I give you praise for your Torah and your Masorah of truth. I thank you for your Shabbat. I give you praise on this Shabbat. You will take the reins of my lips and the reins of my tongue and reign. Yahuah, let the words that I speak be spirit and life. Bring medicine to those who hear it, light and lamps to those who need it. Yahuah, I pray that the word of Yahuah would richly dwell in the midst of me. Yahuah, I pray that your word would manifest itself. Yahuah, I just pray. Yahuah, I pray for the nation. I pray for your people. I pray for the grafted in Gentiles, Yahuah, that want to be a part of this witness. Yahuah, I pray in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach. Let the words of my mouth and meditation of my heart be acceptable in thy sight, Yahuah, my strength and my redeemer. In the name of Yahushua HaMashiach, listen. Help me sing. Come on. Yasharal, Yahudah. Come on. Hallelujah. Listen. That's my Aki Lorvins. Right? And Moreh Josh, Yahusha, from Rebirth of the Nation. Listen. I am ready I'm ready. Listen. I want to go home. I want to go home. I don't want to be in the land of my captivity any longer. I want to go home. I don't want to struggle in the land of my captivity. Now, granted, I ain't struggling because Yahuah is my source and I have everything I need, really. But, you know, I want to be in the land. I do. And that's going to come with sacrifice. I know this already. But I'm ready to leave. And I'm telling you, I'm not looking to build anything in this country. No. I'm not looking to build anything in this country. And you know what? Until Yahuah gives me what I need to make a move out, stay here where I'm living, in this house, and plant my vegetables. But I'm ready to leave this land of my captivity. I am ready. You know, and I don't have a problem with nobody who don't want to. You know, I'm convinced that there are just some people who just won't go. And that's okay. You can do what you want to do. I ain't mad at you. I ain't mad at you. And I'm not talking about running to a nation or country to commune with my ancestral ruachs. No. Nada. No way. When I go, I'm going with the RUACH HA'QODESH of truth. And I want to be there to bring the word of truth. There's things that I see in the RUACH HA'QODESH, right? I just don't like it here no more. I don't like being here, right? So I said, well, you know, you got better than most people in Africa. What's better? What's better? What's better? What's worse? See, because in this system, unless you do it the way they want you to do it, you ain't going to never get to where you want to be. Because you got to do it their way. Right? I'm talking about this system. This Babylonian Mitzrayim system. And again, we understand that they're targeting it. They're trying to take everything and make it a worldwide thing. But you know what, though? I'm kind of starting to feel like, you know, I'd rather be on the continent, right? Where my people are. Close to the land where I know my Yahuah resides. On the mountain where. Than to be on a continent where you hate it. And you know, it's interesting, right? There's people on this continent that just don't want to see it. They don't want to see it. want to see it. You know, you can't do nothing about that because they just don't want to see it. They just want it to go just the way it is, you know. I don't want to know what's going on in the news. I don't want to know what's going on in the world because I can't change that. All I want to do is what I'm doing here. Not me. Not me. So, you who have this same desire, right? It's time for us to pray. It's time for us to pray. It's time for us to pray and ask Yahuah through the unity of the faith and the believers to be able to get us where we need to go. We need to do it. We need to do it. We need to do it. You know, I'm a firm believer that the awakening on the continent without the quickening is about as beneficial as the awakening in the United States without the quickening. It's the same difference. But see, in the awakening and the quickening on the continent, that's feet the soil, that's crown to the land of Yahuah in the RUACH HA'QODESH. Excuse me. That's what I want to be. Because this ain't the land of Yahuah. This ain't the land of Yahuah. This is not the land of well, I mean, it could be the land of God and Jesus. Yeah. I mean, because if that's who you worship and that's who you serve, yeah. You know, good luck with that once Yahuah's judgment rains down on the Lord and Jesus. Right. Because Yahusha is riding. And Jesus, baby Jesus, Yahusha's going to ride. The angels are going to ride. So, I'm looking to go all in. I am looking to go all in. And I'm not just going all in with anybody. No. I want you to start leading people. Leading me to people. People leading to us. The Messiah of truth. You know. We're unified in what we want to do. Right? We're not exclusion to anybody. But we're unified. We know what we want and where we want to go and where we want to be. And that's what I'm praying you will do. So, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. This is the truth. We, the people of the book, broadcast believes in the absolute truth. And I'm prepared to preach and teach the absolute truth wherever we go. Yeah. On the continent. The witness. All right. So, we left off in the Wisdom of Solomon, right? First chapter. Got as far as the 5th verse. And it's right where Yahuah wants me to be. You know, we finished up 2 Corinthians, and Yahuah told me where he wanted me to go. And that's where we're at. Right? And Shlomo, right, the author, right, of the wisdom of Shlomo, right? Or the collection of his thoughts, that were ruachally transpired. Right? Shlomo. Right? We understand that Shlomo was a man of Yahuah, or he was the king that Yahuah anointed, right? Right, so let's look at that real quick. Right? Second Chronicles, the first chapter, beginning at the first verse. And Shlomo, the son of David, was strengthened in his kingdom. He had received the kingdom from David, right? And it was now his, right? And Adonai and Yahuah, his Aluah, right, with him, and magnified him exceedingly. Now, why did Yahuah magnify him exceedingly? Because Shlomo made the right choice initially, right? Shlomo's heart was in the right place initially, right? But over the years, Shlomo fell out of grace, and the ruach that he had departed. And you got people going to say, well, that's not how that, well, it doesn't matter. We're going to see it in the book, volume of the book. Right. So, Shlomo, right, was magnified. Yahuah magnified him exceedingly. Now let's look at this, right? Yahuah magnified him. What does that word in the Hebrew means, right?
Strong's H 1431. Gadal.
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 He was Gadal, right? David was Gaal, right? But he was Gadal, right? David was Gaal. He was an avenger. He was a redeemer. He was a guardian. He made it possible by the ruach that rested upon him to allow Shlomo to be Gadol. Because of the nations he conquered, because of the wealth that he accumulated, and because of his dedication to the RUACH HA'QODESH, right? Yahuah, right? Shlomo had the same heart as his father David initially, right? He was going to cause Shlomo to grow, to become great or important, right? He was going to promote him, make him powerful, praiseworthy. Shlomo, praiseworthy. His fame went out, praiseworthy, right? He was going to be able to do great things, right? Because he was Gadal. He was Gadal. He was Gadal. He was Gadal. Because he was Gadal, he was going to build a temple for you. He was Gadal. He was going to build a house for himself. Gadal. He was going to have servants and men servants and wine cup. He was going to be Gadal. Right? He'll be Gadal. It's going to be great. He's going to be Gadal. David was Gaal. David was Gaal. He was mighty in battle. He had the ruach of might. Right? Ruach of might. operated in the ruach of might to such a degree that he conquered nations. He fought the Philistines, the lion men of Moab. Great feats. He was God. But Shlomo was God dog. Right? Yahuah says, right, gonna make him, he's gonna magnify him exceedingly. He was going to exceed all others. Right? We go down to that 7th verse. Now, this is key to understanding why Yahuah made Shlomo Gadol. This is key. Actually, let's start at that 6th verse. Right? This is key because, it says in that 6th verse, Shlomo went up thither to the brazen altar before Yahuah, which at the tabernacle of the congregation, and offered 1,000 burnt offering upon it. Shlomo took 1,000 ox to offer a sacrifice unto Yahuah. Right? And upon doing this, right, because Yahuah, it went up to Yahuah as a sweet-smelling savor. Right? That night, Yahuah appeared unto Shlomo and said unto him, ask what I shall give thee. Ask of me what it is that you want from me. Your offering, your sacrifice. Has gone up before me, and you have replaced your father as king over Israel. What you want from me? Right? Shlomo's response was this. He says, in that 8th verse of that Chronicles, the 1st chapter, Shlomo said unto him, Yahuah, thou hast showed great mercy unto David, the man that was after your own heart, my father, and has made me to reign as king over Yasharal in his place. My dad was a great man. You made him what he was. O Yahuah, Shlomo said, let thy promise unto David, my father, be established. Promise to build a temple. The promise to bless his seed. The promise that if he continues on his throne in righteousness, if whoever sits on that throne in righteousness, it will be perpetual. He says, For thou hast made me king over the people like the dust of the earth. So many, right? He says, Yahuah, give me the RUACH HA'QODESH of wisdom. Because, he's asking Yahuah. He's not asking Yahuah to give him earthly wisdom that's sensual and natural. He's asking for the RUACH HA'QODESH of wisdom. The RUACH of Yahuah. He says, give unto me now the RUACH of wisdom and RUACH of knowledge. I'm established as a nation. I don't fear my enemies coming against me because my Father satisfied and settled all that. I don't need might like that, but this counsel. I need wisdom and knowledge. I need the RUACH's characteristics to be manifested in wisdom and knowledge. He said, I need it so that I can go out and come in before this people. Your people. Those which are called by your name. Those that you have brought into this land of promise. Those who you have caused their enemies to be subdued around them. You have caused your enemies to come up against them one way, to flee before them 7 ways. You have called us as a nation, as a peaceful people, to prosper and flourish. We are offering sacrifices. We are keeping the feast days. We are keeping the dedication days. You just need this RUACH of wisdom and understanding, right? He says that I may go out and come in before this people, for who can provide justice? Who can give justice to without your RUACH, right? Who can do this without your RUACH of wisdom? Who is going to, how would I be able to know how to rightfully discern without your RUACH of wisdom? Yahuah, I'm not an old man. I'm not the bearded one. I don't have experience and tenure. I need your supernatural RUACH HA'QODESH of wisdom to give me what I need in order to be the leader these people need to see. I need your RUACH. He says, because who can judge? Who can provide justice? Who can provide supervision? Who can counsel? Who can know how to do? See, and the king's responsibility was to keep Yahuah before his face day and night. Shlomo, all he had to do was keep the Torah and the Besorah before him day and night. Yahuah had given him the wisdom of RUACH, the RUACH of wisdom and understanding, the RUACH of knowledge. He had the RUACHs of Yahuah, the RUACH of Yahuah. He had everything he needed to get the job done. He just needed to keep the Besorah and the Torah before him day and night. The king was to meditate in the Torah day and night. The word of Yahuah is a lamp unto his feet, a light unto his pathway. But along the way, he stopped meditating as the king should in the Besorah and the Torah day and night. His priorities should have been time spent in the Torah and the Besorah day and night, so that he could avail himself of this RUACH wisdom and knowledge is necessary to take the nation forward. Yahuah said unto Shlomo, listen, right? Because this was in your heart. See, Shlomo had offered up sacrifices to Yahuah. He had prepared his heart for Yahuah. He knew what it is that he wanted to do. He felt the heart of compassion and love and burden for the nation of Yasharal. Yahuah says it was in your heart. It was in your heart. The blood and the sacrifices have been offered. You're righteous before me. I see your heart. He said, and thou hast not asked me for riches. You didn't ask me for more money. You didn't ask me for wealth. Increase. You didn't ask me for wealth. He says, you didn't even ask me for honor. That the people would recognize you as king and honor you. You didn't even ask me for that. You didn't ask me for the life of your enemies. You didn't ask me for your enemies' lives, right? Neither yet has asked me to cause you to live long. You didn't ask me for that. He says, but has asked for wisdom and knowledge, right? For thyself, that thou mayest judge my people. I'm going to give you my ruach of wisdom and my ruach of knowledge. Because you wanted to preserve the nation, my people, that are called by my name. Shlomo, see, you got to understand, when you're reading the wisdom of Shlomo, you're reading it from a man who has been gifted the ruach of wisdom and the ruach of understanding, the ruach of knowledge. He was gifted the ruach of wisdom and knowledge. And with that comes counsel. With that, he had the ruach HaQODESH of you. He says, for thyself that thou mightest judge my people over whom I have anointed you as king. I made you king. I anointed you king. Right? It says, and wisdom and knowledge is granted. The ruach of wisdom, the ruach HaQODESH of wisdom, the ruach HaQODESH of knowledge is granted. See, because, it's not a natural wisdom. It's not a natural knowledge. This ain't some doctrinal thesis, accumulation of classes and curriculums. This is not that. This is not a PhD, an MS, a BS, a BA, or AA. This ain't none of that. See, that's earthly, that's natural, that's sensual. This ain't none of that. This is the supernatural, inspired ruach wisdom and knowledge that only Yahuah by the Ruach HaQODESH could give a man. He says, it's granted. And I'm going to give you riches and wealth and honor, such as none of the kings, not even your father David, have had before thee. None of them. Neither shall there any after thee have the like. See, so this is the foundation of understanding how Shlomo had to have operated when he began to put the words, or the words were recorded in this work of the wisdom of Solomon, right? Now we got as far as the 5th verse, right? And we're going to read to the 5th verse. Love righteousness, ye that be judges of the earth. Love what Torah produces, righteousness. Torah byproduct is righteousness. Obeying what Torah says produces righteousness, right? And you have to have the right heart, right, in order to receive, right, righteousness. Right? Your heart has to be in a place of keeping Torah, in order to be established in righteousness. We are established in righteousness through faith in the blood of Yahushua HaMashiach and the entire witness, the water and the sealer to the deal, the RUACH HA'QODESH. For he only comes in if the heart is pure and righteous. Yeah, you should power after that RUACH that has just come upon you because you have been in the water and you have received the blood. You were qualified to receive the witness. Shlomo had to have washed. He had presented the ox as a sacrifice. And now Yahuah is here to grant him, because he's anointed him already, king, the RUACH HA'QODESH of wisdom and knowledge. So he says, love righteousness, ye that be judges of the RUACH. Shlomo was a judge of the earth. He was concerned about the provision of counsel to the people of Yahuah. He had to have what was necessary to, counsel the people of Yahuah, to serve Yahuah's nation, to provide leadership and direction, right? And because of this, his fame, he would be magnified. His renown would reach to the other nations. Shlomo. He said, listen, he proved to be a judge, right? People came to seek counsel from him, to get answers. See, the Queen of Sheba came and she ended up spending so much time with him. She brought spices and jewels, and just as a token of appreciation to receive some semblance of the wisdom of Shlomo, which was really just the wisdom of Yahuah's RUACH. His knowledge was just Yahuah's knowledge. He says, judge of the earth, Think of Yahuah with a good heart. Think of Yahuah with good. And in simplicity of heart, seek ye him. Seek Yahuah from a pure heart, from a repentant heart. The heart that is pure is a heart that is repentant. If you aren't repentant, it doesn't make any sense for you to seek Yahuah, because he ain't going to hear you. Listen, you can't receive from Yahuah if your heart has not been repentant. And he knows true repentance. Right? Listen, Dawid was a man after Yahuwah's own heart. Dawid repented. And your heart has to be right. He says, listen, for he will be found of them that tempt him not. If you trust Yahuah, right, you don't provoke Yahuah, right, in your unbelief, in your doubt, right, but trust him, you will be found by him. Listen, I'm so glad Yahuah found me. And all I needed was a grain. When I received that mustard seed of faith, it triggered a desire to know more. And when I began to seek him, I was found of him. And then when I repented in sincerity and received the blood atonement for that sin, I became a vessel that was fit for the presence of Yahuwah's RUACH at a young age. Yahuah, my heart. I had been chosen of Yahuah. He said, listen, for he will be found of them that tempt him not, and shows himself unto such as do not distrust him. Yahuah reveals himself to those who have emunah, that trust in him. He does not reveal himself to those who don't trust him. See, I believe the word of Yahuah. Yahuah tells me something, I believe it. That settles it. If he tells me something, I believe it. He tells me to do something, I'm going to do it. That settles it. No matter what the end result is and the outcome is, that's not me. I do what Yahuah told me to do. I do what Yahuah tell me to do. And when Yahuah tell me to do a thing, I do it. And then you know what? He is responsible for the outcome. You know, sometimes, Yahuah tells us to do something, we don't initially see the favorable outcome. Because we figure, well, Yahuah told us to do it. Then the end result has got to be favorable. Boom, we should see it right away. But no. It doesn't happen like that all the time. It doesn't happen like that all the time. See, if you do what Yahuah tells you to do, and you stand strong in what he's told you to do, don't worry about the outcome. Because it's always going to be favorable. Though you may not see its favorable manifestation at that time, does not mean that it hasn't arrived. Right? He says it's going to be found by them who trust him. You got to trust Yahuah. You got to trust Yahuah with faith in Yahushua HaMashiach. You got to trust that Yahuah sent his Torah, made flesh. You got to trust that that Torah made flesh was sent to purchase your Yeshua. You have to receive that emunah. You got to receive the fact that if it wasn't for the water, the blood, and the Ruach HaQodesh, you would be nothing. You got to accept that emunah. And then you got to know that with confidence when you come to Yahuah, in this emunah, in this faith, that he is faithful and just to forgive you, to cleanse you, and to give you his Ruach HaQodesh to keep you. You got to trust Yahuah. He says here, the forward thoughts separate from Elohim. So forward thoughts always separate from Elohim. Forward thoughts are the thoughts that are contrary to the process, to the plan and the purpose and the will of Yahuah. You know, you think what you think based on what you understand and know. You don't consult Yahuah. See, the forward man don't consult Yahuah. He's established in his own self that he knows what's best. She knows what's best. She knows what's good for her. Right? She knows what's good for her. He says, and his power, when it is tried, reproves the wise. When you put Yahuah to the test, right, with your own wisdom, he's going to demonstrate his power. He's going to demonstrate his might, his glory, right? When you lay crafty stuff down, Yahuah is going to elevate it by his power. He's going to elevate it by his power. Listen. He says, for into a malicious soul, the Ruach of wisdom, because you know we're talking Shlomo now. Shlomo is speaking from the point of the wisdom of Yahuah. He's not just speaking from some central, natural, something that you can get from a school. He's not even talking about experiences in life apart from the Ruach HaQodesh, the leading and the guiding, that the wisdom that comes from the Ruach. He's talking about the Ruach HaQodesh. You got to have this. Apart from this, there's no wisdom. Apart from the Ruach HaQodesh of Yahuwah's wisdom, there's no wisdom. There's vanity, saith the preacher. Vanity and vexations. Let's look at this. Let's take a peek at this real quick. Let's take a peek at this. Let's take a peek at this. Let's take a look at this. This is Ecclesiastics. Shlomo. Ecclesiastics, right? He said, the word of the preacher, the son of Dawid, king of Jerusalem. Vanities of vanity, saith the preacher. Vanity of vanities, all is vanity. Now, what is vanity? Right? What is vanity? Right? What's vanity? The Hebrew.
Strong's H, 1892. Hevel.
What's the root word etymology?
Strong's H, 1891. Haval.
It is to act empty, to become vain, right? Filled with vain hopes, right? Vain. Now, Shlomo, right? Is Shlomo is gadol. He was going to be of importance. He was of honor in the RUACH HA'QODESH. RUACH HA'QODESH brought Shlomo to gadol because his heart was right. It's in the right place. His heart was in a place where he recognized that he needed the ruach of wisdom and knowledge. He was gadol.
Strong's H 1431. Gadal.
Gadol. But
Gadal.
But he ended up being
Strong's H 1891. Haval.
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 Right? He ended up being Haval, and Haval is a place of emptiness. Right? Emptiness. Absent or void of Yahuah's ruach of wisdom and knowledge. Now listen. Shlomo became vain when he went after vanity, when he pursued emptiness, when the object of his affection left from being Yahuah in his Torah, which he was to meditate on day and night as a king having the ruach of Yahuah, when he became vain in his pursuit, he became empty. He became empty. In Ecclesiastics, he says, vanity, vain, emptiness, saith the preacher, all is emptiness. Emptiness. All is emptiness. What profit haveth a man of all his work? Which he taketh under the sun. What value? Now, this is an empty man speaking. This is the slang. It's the same Shlomo, right? But see, the Shlomo in the wisdom of Shlomo, right? It's a Shlomo that has received the wisdom of the Ruach and the Ruach of wisdom, the Ruach of knowledge from Yahuah. But see, Ecclesiastes, he's become empty. He does not have the ruach of wisdom and the ruach of knowledge. Now, because of his emptiness, he's filled his life with deceit and vanity. He's filled himself with adultery, fornication. He's taken the temple of Yahuah, which he dedicated with ox unto Yahuah, and put in the idols of his foreign wives. He became empty and vain. He became empty and vain. It was vanity. It was vanity. He was vexed because his heart was not after Yahuah. He had built groves in the lands of Yahuah. He put up idols in the sanctuary that was dedicated unto Yahuah. He put idols in Jerusalem throughout of these foreign wives that he had. He brought their adultery and their whoredom and their fornication and their illicit sexual activity into the temple of Yahuah. Vanity. Vanity. His soul became malicious. See, and you know. As I've been reading and meditating on this wisdom of Solomon, you get a picture of Shlomo, right? You get a picture of him. This self-fulfilling wisdom and knowledge that manifested itself in his life. He's speaking before he even experienced it with the wisdom of Yahuah and the knowledge of Yahuah. And has fulfilled it. He said, listen, one generation passes away and another generation comes, but the earth abides forever. See, he's empty. Because though a generation passed, they which pass in righteousness just pass from death to life. But see, vanity and emptiness without Yahuah's Ruach and his presence on the inside of you leaves you with this. Right? He says, the sun also rises, Ecclesiastes 5, 1 and 5, and the sun goes down and hastens to the place where it arose. Okay, yeah, that's what naturally occurs, right? Right, where it arose. He says, the wind goeth towards the south and turns to the north, right? The wind and whirls about continually. Wind returns again unto his court and circuits. Yes, that's right. That's Yahuah's order of things, right? Right? All the rivers run into the sea, yet the sea is not full. What are you saying, Shlomo? Right? What are you saying? It's not enough? Who's concerned about how much the sea is filled? He said, listen. Unto the place from whence the river comes, whither they return again. Okay, yes, but that's the circuit of things. That's the order of Yahuah, right? Right. He says, and all the rivers run into the sea, yet the sea is not full. Unto the place from whence the river comes, thither they return again. All things are full of labor, cannot utter. The eye is not satisfied with seeing, nor the ear filled with hearing, right? The things that have been, it is that which shall be, and that which is done is that which shall be done. What? Yes, this is wisdom. This is ruach. This is wisdom. He said, listen, has been done, which shall be done, and there is no new thing under the sun. Is there anything whereof it may be said of thee, this is new? Right? It hath been already in times and before us, therefore no remembrance or form of things shall there be any remembrance. Shlomo, you don't have the Ruach of Yahuah no more. Listen. The preacher was the king of Yasharal in Jerusalem. And I gave myself to seek and to search out wisdom concerning all things that are done under the heavens, right? The sore travail that Yahuah has given the sons of men to exercise therewith. I have seen all the works that are done under the sun, and behold, all is vanity and vexation of Ruach. It's a vexation of Ruach. At what point did your pursuit of wisdom in the Ruach of Yahuah, right, become vexation. Let's see. I have seen the works that are done under the sun, and behold, all is vanity. Emptiness. Shlomo gave his heart over to the Hasatan. He walked away from the disciplined dedication that he was to keep before him as the king. As a king, he had a responsibility to meditate in the Torah day and night. That's where his wisdom was going to come from. Not in the pursuit of the things that he sees and what he watches and observes of men. Your wisdom is from the Torah. Your wisdom is from the Besorah, the Torah. Let's go back to the wisdom of Solomon, because this is Shlomo. You get two sides of Shlomo. You got the side that's walking and operating in the ruach of wisdom and knowledge, and then you got the side that is totally lost touch with the ruach of wisdom and knowledge and considers everything that's on the inside of him emptiness. Despair. Depression. See, that's what the cares of this world brings. Depression. Right? Because you're empty. Your heart is darkened. Shlomo's heart became darkened. His heart became darkened. Wisdom of Shlomo. He said, for a malicious soul, wisdom shall not enter. See, now, Shlomo knows this because this is the Shlomo in the wisdom of Shlomo that asked Yahuah for it from his heart, right? And Shlomo knew, because Yahuah says, because your desires weren't malicious, because your desires wasn't for wealth and riches and all of this other stuff. Your desire was to attend to the needs of my people. Your heart condition was right. It wasn't empty. Right? Your heart condition was right. Because see, in a malicious heart, the ruach of wisdom shall not enter. And listen, nor dwell in the body that is subject to sin. Vanity is vanity. Vanity of vanity, saith the preacher. All is vanity. Wisdom is futile. Yeah, see, because you know what? Your pursuits stopped being the Torah of Yahuah in the daytime and the meditation of the Torah Yahuah in the evenings. See, because that's what the king had to do. See, David understood that, because David wrote songs. David made a mistake. No. You created me a clean heart, renewing me an upright ruach. Yeah. David understood true repentance. I'm not sure Shlomo ever got there. Shlomo was a man who was after Yahuwah's heart. He had a heart for Yahuwah's people. He had wisdom and knowledge, the ruach of wisdom, the ruach of knowledge, because Yahuwah gave it to him. Right? So, listen. For a malicious soul, the ruach of wisdom shall not enter, nor dwell in the body that is subject to sin. The ruach of wisdom and the ruach of knowledge couldn't dwell in Shlomo. Excuse me. The ruach of wisdom and the ruach of knowledge could not dwell in Shlomo. Listen, Shlomo broke the Torah. When the Torah said that your king shall not multiply wives unto him, you knew that this act of multiplying wives, especially amongst the other nations, would lead to the downfall of the king. All of these exotic women serving these exotic elves. His body became subject to sin. The ruach of wisdom could not dwell in Solomon. Listen, make no mistake about it, bro. You who have received the witness of Yahushua Mashiach and Yahuwah's RUACH HA'QODESH, right? If you go off in sin again, right, to bring Yahushua to an open shame, there ain't no more sacrifices for you. There's no more bulls. There are no more goats that you could use. It's because Yahuwah would tolerate things, and if you brought a sacrifice, you was good. I got to bring a new sacrifice, a new goat, a new lamb, right? But Yahushua, he did the deal once and for all. High priest and all, sacrifice and all, in the Shamaim's tabernacle, in the holies of all, once and for all, right? A sacrifice for sin. He condemned sin in the flesh. He made it possible for you to be established in righteousness, swept clean. With the RUACH HA'QODESH, the RUACH HA'QODESH only going to come in when it's swept clean, when true repentance has come, and the blood of Yahushua has washed you, and you've received the RUACH HA'QODESH, then and only then, and then you don't do what is necessary. Even the kings had to meditate on the Torah day and night in order to keep what they had before the people. You don't want to meditate in the word of Yahuwah. You don't want to fast. You don't want to pray. The kings had to fast and pray. They had to dedicate their hearts to Yahuwah. You don't want to fast. You don't want to pray. Yahushua had to fast and pray. You don't want to do that. You don't want to get up in the wee hours of the morning to lay before Yahuwah, prostrate on your face, and ask Yahuwah to move in your behalf. To do. You don't want to do that. Right. You want to be in the vine. You want to be in the vine. You want to accept Yahushua, right? You want to accept the RUACH HA'QODESH. You don't want to do nothing. You just want to be in the vine. Yeah, well, you ain't gonna produce no fruit, so you're gonna be cut off. Men gather them up to be in the fire to be burned. Shaul said, look, you thorns and thistles and briars. Men gather them to be burned. Listen. You got to maintain this. See, Shlomo didn't do it. He didn't meditate as a king. See, and he started disobeying Torah. Shoot, if it looked good in a skirt or a dress, Shlomo wanted it. He made alliances with kings, these foreign wicked kings, marrying their daughters. and would allow them to bring their idolatry into the nation. Come on, man. Come on. You got the beautiful daughters of Zion, but you want the other nations. Listen. You better understand what you're in. Right? He says, for the RUACH HA'QODESH of discipline will flee deceit. The Torah of truth that works in you through your Torah devotion, meditation day and night, right? That brings discipline. You gotta discipline yourself. Kadar, cut it out, go lay down. Excuse me. Gotta dedicate yourself. Get this. This ain't gonna happen via osmosis. This witness takes your dedication, your discipline. You're gonna have to fast. You're gonna have to pray. You're gonna dedicate, or you're gonna be cut off. Yeah, my Aki, he did a beautiful lesson on this morning on the light. Yahuah's word being a lamp and a light, and the connection with the oil and the ruach, and how you had 10 virgins, 10 wise and 10 foolish. Man, listen here. Love that Aki, man. Listen. Listen. Don't be them 10 virgins that in the midnight hour are going to leave in pursuit of some oil. Right? Right? Because the master of the house who is calling for the bride is calling. Get you prepared. You got to go get some more oil. The 5 went into the marriage feast and the door was shut. Five foolish one went and got oil, came back and knocked on the door. Like, nope. You cut off. Can't get in. Hey, you want to pad these? Like Yahushua said, you that branch that don't produce fruit, that you cut off. He said the RUACH HA'QODESH of discipline flees deceit and removes from the thoughts that are without understanding, and will not abide with unrighteousness comes in. See. Shlomo let sin get in. Yeah, he forgot. He relied on the wisdom of the RUACH HA'QODESH. But what he failed to realize is that the more he walked away from the RUACH of truth, the RUACH of wisdom and knowledge, the more he relied on what he understood. Because the RUACH HA'QODESH will not abide in an unrighteous temple. Right? He said, for wisdom is a loving RUACH. Wisdom is RUACH HA'QODESH. It's the RUACH HA'QODESH. It's the RUACH of Yahuah. It's the RUACH HA'QODESH of wisdom. Shlomo says it's a loving RUACH. wisdom, the ruach of wisdom of Yahuah is a loving ruach. Yahuah knew Shlomo's heart. That's why he gave him the ruach of wisdom and the ruach of knowledge. The ruach of wisdom is a loving ruach, and will not acquit a blasphemer of his words. The ruach is not going to acquit someone that lies against the ruach. It will not acquit a blasphemer of his word. That's why you can't blaspheme the RUACH HA'QODESH. The word, the RUACH HA'QODESH of Yahuah, you can't blaspheme against. There's nothing for you. He says, for the wisdom of the loving ruach, for wisdom is a loving ruach, and will not acquit a blasphemer of his word. For Elohim is witness of his mind, the ruach, right? And a true beholder of his heart, the ruachs, right? And a hearer of his tongue, the ruach, right? For the ruach Yahuah fills the world. The ruach of Yahuah, is throughout the world. It's available to those whose heart is righteous, who have received the witness of Yahushua HaMashiach. If you've received the witness of Yahushua HaMashiach, right, and you're righteous, right, witness and you're righteous, right, the Ruach HaQodesh of Yahuah fills the world, and that which contains all things has knowledge of his voice. Who has knowledge of his voice? The Ruach HaQodesh in me has knowledge of the voice of Yahuah. Excuse me. The Ruach HaQodesh, right, which fills the world. Because the Ruach HaQodesh and the witness of Yahushua Mashiach established his kingdom in the Eretz. And Yahuah, on the day of Pentecost, gave his Ruach HaQodesh into the world. Right? The Ruach HaQodesh is available in the world today, and Yahuah on Shavuot is going to send a fresh anointing. Shavuot. It's a fresh anointing. A fresh ruachal anointing. But it's in the earth. Yahuah's ruach is in the earth. The ruach of Yahuah fills the world, right? And that which contains all things, his knowledge of his voice. And that ruach which contains all, and that ruach contains all things, has knowledge of his voice. So the ruach that's in the earth, right, that I have received, that's in my belly, which brings forth rivers of living water, knows his voice. know the voice of Yahuah. If you would tell me to do something, I know you will tell me. Because I have his Ruach that is in the earth, in the world, because he sent it after Yahushua HaMashiach left. And it only enters into the hearts of those who receive the witness of Yahushua HaMashiach. And it is from their bellies where it flows, and they hear his voice. He said, listen. He said, their voice. I skipped a part. Let me backtrack. He said, for wisdom is a loving ruach. Kadar, cut it out, go lay down now. He said, wisdom, right, is a loving ruach and will not acquit a blasphemer of his word. For Elohim is witness of his mind and a true beholder of his heart and a hearer of the tongue, of his tongue, right? For the Ruach of Yahuah fills the world, and that which is contained all things, his knowledge, the knowledge of his voice. So we have the knowledge of his voice because his Ruach contains all things, right? We have the Ruach of Yahuah, the Ruach of wisdom, the Ruach of understanding, Ruach of counsel, Ruach of might, Ruach of knowledge and the fear of Yahuah. Excuse me a minute. Cut it out, Kadar, go lay down. Excuse me. So, therefore he that speaketh unrighteousness, things cannot be hid. Can't be hid, you can't hide. Because the Ruach HaKodesh of wisdom and the Ruach HaKodesh of knowledge are visibly discernible in righteousness. You can't hide this, right? You can't hide wisdom, right? He said, listen. Therefore, he that speaketh unrighteousness, right? You don't have the Ruach of wisdom and knowledge, right? Speaketh unrighteous things cannot be hid. You're going to expose yourself because the righteousness that comes with wisdom in the Ruach HaKodesh is notable. It's noticeable. Neither shall vengeance, when it punishes, pass him by. Listen, unrighteousness is going to come with punishment. Punishment is the direct result of your unrighteousness. You can't hide. Real wisdom and real knowledge, ru'ako, from the Ruach HaKodesh is from Yahuah. He said, listen. For inquisition shall be made into the counsel of the wicked men, and the sound of his words shall come before Yahuah. That man who does not operate in wisdom, that does not operate in the Ruach HaKodesh of wisdom and knowledge, he is forward in his thinking. The forward man in his thinking, right, before Yahuah is going to be punished because he can't be hid. He's a forward-thinking man, right? He says, and the sounds of his words shall come unto Yahuah for the manifestations of his wicked deeds. Listen, the Ruach of wisdom will manifest wickedness. It will. It will. The Ruach of knowledge will manifest wickedness because it's the Ruach of Yahuah. You can't hide unrighteousness before the righteousness of the Ruach HaQodesh of wisdom and the Ruach HaQodesh of knowledge. The Ruach of Yahuah. Right? You can't. He says, listen, Yahuah, he says, and the sounds of his words shall come unto Yahuah for the manifestations of his wicked deeds. Right? For the ears of jealousy hear all things, and the noise of murmuring is not hid. This is unrighteousness. This is opposite of the wisdom of the Ruach of Yahuah and the knowledge of the Ruach of Yahuah. He said, listen, therefore, beware of murmuring, which is unprofitable, and refrain your tongue from backbiting, so there is no words so secret that shall go not forth. Listen, everything you say is going to be weighed against the Ruach of Yahuah. Everything you say, everything you do, your bitterness, your deceit, it's going to come before Yahuah. It's going to come before that Ruach of wisdom and knowledge. See, I was telling my Aki, right? I'm so tired of the deceit and the deception that is in amongst the heathen, right? I mean, it's just so this deceit, this not wanting to admit to the wickedness that they've done and they do. They don't wanna stand up and acknowledge that, yeah, you know what? We did you wrong. We still do you wrong. Right? They don't want to do that. They don't want to do that. They don't want to address the people of you. They don't want to address them. Right? So you think, you say to yourself, yeah, wow, this is deceit. That's why Yahuah is going to take them into captivity. That's why they're gonna go into captivity. That's why they're gonna experience captivity. That's why we got next. We who are in the witness that have received the Ruach of Yahuah. We who endure to the end. That's Hebrew and Gentile alike. Right? Right? We got next. We got next. You ask yourself, you got these other nations, right? And you got people in these other nations, right, that received the witness of Yahushua HaMashiach, right? They're waiting for Yahushua to restore things. They're going to serve Yahuwah in their nations. They're going to still be changed. They're going to execute justice on behalf of Yahuwah in their nations, amongst their people. Those who haven't received the witness. Those who Shlomo says, he says, Therefore, therefore beware of murmuring, which is unprofitable, and refrain your tongue from backbiting. For there is no word so secret that shall go forth not, and the mouth that belieth slays the soul. Listen. Deceit, malice, slow-mo. I was speaking from a point of wisdom, ruach wisdom and ruach knowledge that he had as he pursued the Torah day and night as the king over Yasharal. Once he failed to do that, it all became vanity. He couldn't see through the eyes of the Ruach. He couldn't see through the eyes of the Ruach of knowledge and wisdom. It became all vanity then, because all he could see is what he saw from his own natural perspective. It was no longer Torah in the morning and Torah at night. It was the violation of Torah. He says, seek not death in the error of thy life. Don't commit suicide. You made you made errors in life, right? Don't seek death. Don't seek to take your life. Seek not death in the error of life, and pull not upon yourselves destruction with the works of your hands. Don't take your life. Depression. Anxiety. This that makes one think that it's not worth living. It's vanity. It's empty. Right? This is what Shlomo was exhorting and explaining in the wisdom of in Shlomo. It's the wisdom. First chapter. And yet we see in Ecclesiastes him actually turning full circle because he didn't have the Ruach anymore. He said, seek not death in the error of your life, and pull not upon yourselves destructions with the works of your hands. For Elohim made not death, neither hath he pleasure in the destruction of the living. He don't want you to kill yourself. He don't want you to take your life. He don't want you to end it because you become so depressed, because you're so caught in the cares of this world, right? Listen, you have the Ruach of Yahuah. If you have received the witness of Yahushua HaMashiach, the Ruach, that's the water and the blood, right? Right? You just need to meditate in the Torah day and night. You just need to keep the word of Yahuah before you. You just need to keep the word of Yahuah before you day and night. You need to allow the word of Yahuah to dwell in your heart richly. You need to do those things to promote righteousness in Yahuah. You need to endure to the end to be established in his kingdom. Elohim made not death, neither have his pleasure in the destruction of the living. Death came upon man because of disobedience. It was appointed unto man once to die and the judgment. But the death that man has is an eternal death if man chooses to take his own life. Right? He says, for he created all things that they might have their being, and the generations of the worlds were healthful, and there is no poison or destruction in them, right? Because when Yahuah established it, he established it for it to be eternal, to live. There's no death. There was no poison. There was nothing that was to cause life to stop. But you know what? When deceit entered in them, nor the kingdoms of death upon the earth. For righteousness is immortal. See, that's why you have to receive the witness of Yahushua HaMashiach in order to be immortal. You have to have the blood that cleanses you, to establishes you in this righteousness, to take out that sin consciousness, and to have the RUACH HA'QODESH of Yahuah and Yahushua on the inside of you that makes you immortal. Adam and Havah gave it up because of their failure to maintain righteousness, keeping Torah, obeying what Yahuah said. They allowed themselves, right, to lose the RUACH HA'QODESH. Death came. They became mortal. Righteousness is the only way to eternal life, immortality. And righteousness is only through faith in the blood of Yahushua HaMashiach and being established in his witness. He said, for righteousness is immortal, but the wicked man with their works and words call it to them. For when they thought to have it their friend, they consumed to naught and cut a covenant with it, because they are worthy to take part with it. Listen, you have to. But the wicked man with their works and words called it to them. Right? For when they thought to have it their friend, right, immortality, righteousness, right, righteousness. For when they thought to have had it their friend, right, they consumed it not. They didn't take hold of righteousness. And they cut the covenant and cut a covenant with it, because they worthy, right? He says, to make it their friend, right? They consumed to not, they presumed not to do it, and cut a covenant with it. They presume not to cut the covenant with righteousness, because they are worthy to partake of it, right? Listen, you have to establish this covenant with Yahuah through faith in Yahushua HaMashiach's witness in order to be worthy of this immortality, this eternal life. Shlomo knew this. Shlomo knew this. Shlomo knew this in the ruach of wisdom and knowledge, right? But Shlomo lost it because he became vain in his own thinking. He allowed deceit to take the place of the Torah by day and the Torah by night. And as a result of it, he slipped into where we find him in Ecclesiastes, where he says wisdom is futile. Man of Yah, woman of Yah, this is the Shabbat. This is that rest. This is that eternal rest. This is that rest that we have in the Ruach of Yahuah. This is that rest that we must allow to establish us. Yahusha is this rest. Yahusha is this Shabbat. Yahusha is this immortality. Yahusha is this wisdom, the Ruach of wisdom and understanding. He is the Ruach of counsel's might. He is the Ruach of Yahuah. He is the Ruach of counsel, understanding, might. Listen, he is it all. You got to receive this witness. Man of Yah, woman of Yah, listen. That's the first chapter of the wisdom of Shlomo. The first chapter. Now, understand, Shlomo, in this first chapter, he was speaking from a point of wisdom. And he was speaking from a clarity of wisdom. Because he was speaking by the RUACH HA'QODESH of wisdom. He was speaking from the RUACH HA'QODESH of wisdom, right? He understood what it meant to have Yahuwah's Ruach working, right? But we're going to see even more so how easy it is when you don't put Yahuwah's Ruach leading and guiding you first, and when you don't meditate on Yahuwah's Torah day and night, keeping Yahuwah's word before you, you're going to see what the consequences of that is. You're going to end up losing your immortality. Man of Yah, woman of Yah, that's all I got. We the people of the book broadcast has gone down. And I love Yahuwah. Man of Yah, woman of Yah, called the greatness. Women of Yahuwah beautifully and wonderfully made. Yahuwah, I pray right now for them that on this Shabbat they would find the rest that comes with your witness and the Ruach HaQodesh, the mortality, the immortality that replaces mortality in this witness. Yahuwah, I pray that they would be strengthened by power and by might in their inner man, that they will receive this witness. Yahuwah, I give you praise. I give you praise. I give you praise. I give you praise. Let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in thy sight. We, the people of the book broadcast, has gone down. That's it. We done. We going out to Hezekiah. I never knew Yah. Listen, man of Yah, woman of Yah. Hallelujah. Never knew Yah. Sound the alarm. Sound the alarm. Let it be known. Shabbat. Shabbat. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Be blessed. Hallelujah.
Torah Garden, speaking the absolute truth. Torah Nation.